During the 1400s, gentlemen in southern Europe began regularly wearing swords as part of their civilian attire, and the practice eventually spread throughout the rest of Europe. This led sword makers to develop new weapons specialized for non-military users. Along with these new weapons came new fighting techniques. Swordsmen began hooking their forefingers in front of the crossguard for greater control. Without the heavy gauntlets worn by knights, this left the hand extremely vulnerable, so protective bars were added in front of the crossguard. Over time, this protective apparatus became more elaborate and stylized, giving rise to the elegant swept hilt design. During the 1500s, fencing masters began publishing in-depth treatises on the techniques of sword fighting. Early schools of fencing often made use of a cloak, gauntlet, or dagger in the swordsman's offhand to parry an opponent's attacks. Over time, the rapier's blade was lengthened and narrowed to facilitate thrusting attacks. Eventually, fencing techniques dispensed with the offhand defenses and relied on the sword itself to parry. Early rapiers often featured a crossguard that curved upward on one side, meant to hook and trap an opponent's blade. But as the weapon and techniques were streamlined over time, a straight crossguard became the norm. The protective structure of the hilt was also simplified, replacing the elaborate swept bars with a solid metal cup. During the late 1600s, the long-bladed rapier began to fall out of fashion in favor of simplicity and speed. The rapier continued to see some use in Spain and Italy, but in the rest of Europe, it was replaced by the small sword. Like the rapier, the small sword was primarily a thrusting weapon, but it was shorter and easier to maneuver in combat. The small sword also served as a fashion accessory and badge of rank throughout the 1700s, just as the rapier had in previous centuries. But after 1800, civilian swords went permanently out of style, surviving only in ceremonial settings.